Alderman Donovan.
Here.
Alderman Jokers.
Here.
Alderman Eidman.
Here.
Alderman Rainey.
The agenda. Move approval. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Very good. Now you can do your report.
Great. Thanks, appreciate it.
As long
as you don't make me sing happy birthday. So we got a copy of my report. I'll highlight a few things. I won't go over everything in here unless you got some questions about it. Item number 2, you saw the lobby as you came in. We're on track to open it up on Monday. So there'll be a locked door on the inside. You'll be able to come in. A little more test. We have bill. We have a person's license. We have building permit. We can take care of it in the lobby. No more than 3 people at a time, because that's keep it 6 foot distance. We preset as June 1st rolls around, we'll see that happening. We are going to have it. Item 6, this is something that the board had talked about before. This is on the wall along Washington Avenue near Middle Fifth Street. It has, we went out and looked at it, and I invited Concord Engineering down because they do a number of jobs for us as it is. So I wanted to see what the cost would be to look at that wall, and then what can be done. So you're looking at the concrete, you're looking at retaining wall blocks, or you're looking at just dirt. So we get some options as to how it can be repaired. This is not full-fledged engineering to get it repaired. I just need to know what the cost is going to be. We can talk to the homeowner and see if we can get some share with that. She is also has filed a complaint with the city with our insurers. Her foundation walls are beginning to fall and the floor is being cracked because of all the water coming off the street. She believes that is caused by the way the street lays out and has had problems. There is some alligator cracking. We have filled in on a couple of spots, and I think where we also filled is what's causing a problem with the wall is that it now goes over the curb. So it's putting pressure on that wall. And she says the amount of time that it's moved, and she's saying it's been like 8 to 10 months, it's significantly moved. If it wasn't like that a year ago.
Yeah, that wall's been like that for a while.
So,
Years.
Yeah. I was in the
Okay. Right, folks been there.
So it didn't just get like that 8 to 10 months.
Well,
Look at it 8 to 10 months.
okay, fair enough. So, but it is to the point of starting to push on the fence. We're going to see damage from that. So, what I also worry about is that the street, you may have some collapse in the street because we did see the alligator cracking. That shows that some subsoil is in bad shape. I don't know what water's getting under that street causing it, but I want to at least get a cost of getting the wall fixed so we can get to the street, fix the street, that should resolve that problem. On the other part, we don't want the insurance company to take care of that.
You know, I asked Mark one time back, what was the actual property lines in city streets? And I don't know if Mark may know more about this, but he had told me it's basically the width of the pavement.
Yeah, I mean, it all depends, you have to have a survey.
We did have a survey, I thought,
I understood that it was surveyed and it showed that the wall was
around the property.
That wouldn't worth it.
I think Martin told us that at a previous meeting.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
So, and I think that comes down to something Alderman Johnson said earlier, she sent me an email saying, is that our property or her property? Well, at this point, it's in dispute because it's right in the center. Is it ours? Is it hers? It supports our street. We don't want to have any infrastructure get damaged. But if we put it in, or did the homeowner put it in? When was it? I know you guys have talked about that as we brought it up. So,
How long is that wall?
I didn't measure it. I'm thinking about 80 feet. We'll have exact measurements from the engineer. So yeah, I'll look at some of the subsoil is and get some measurements. Because they'll need to figure out how many blocks it's going to be, or how much concrete, how many concrete forms. Or the other option is that you can put a slope in, so it stays grass all the way down to her yard. That's going to be the cheapest option. And if you do it right, it still holds the street in good shape. So
So is the whole 80 feet cleaning, or is it just the whole 80?
Whole thing, yeah, yeah.
One section's worse than the other.
And there's multiple cracks in it now. You can tell, and they never put any drain tile in, there's no leak holes. I mean, it's got a whole lot of pressure.
Ain't that the end of the alley that comes up from Jefferson?
Yeah.
I think he and Ellie did, but I think it stops short of where her property line is.
Oh,
There's-
okay.
There's some dirt in the back on her property. It kind of angles up. So the wall stops.
One on the corner.
Good on the corner.
In Washington.
Oh, that's,
Yeah, southwest corner.
And that's the 199 over there.
Item 8, I sent you out an email on this, for sales tax numbers, they didn't look as bad as what we thought they would be. And the May report for March is usually low, it's been traditionally lower than the other months. So I'm kind of waiting to see what happens next month, they'll reflect April, everybody was staying home. But if it stays kind of the way it did this month, we may be in better shape than we anticipated. So we may get back into doing our projects, get into doing what we need to get done for the city, instead of holding off on stuff. Let's see what the sales tax is about this month. It kind of reflected across sales, the street fund, all the other funds that reflect the sales tax. They all reflect about that drop that they do traditionally. Now, we are behind where we have been in the past. Some years look really, really good. So we're behind that curve. But, and we're behind on what the budget amount was. So keep that in mind. That we're not up to whatever, I think we, 645,000 or something. We're not, that level's not being kept up. So we may have to look at it again, holding off on some things, if we don't start picking up. We'll see if we reflected in this month's report. So I'm trying, I wish I could have better news or solid news from this report, but I just can't do any more than that.
so what time period is that actually? Is that,
Everything's 2 months behind. So May's report's March, whatever was done in March, whatever is paid in April, we get a report in May. So in June, we'll get April's. So April was when the same homework was in effect. People were working out of their homes, schools were solidly closed. Nobody was doing it. So I think that's what we're going to see, whether there was a lot of business and retail that took place, maybe at Rogers, maybe at County Lumber, maybe at Ace, maybe Save One. We didn't have anything going on with restaurants. So the restaurants, kind of a combined group, may have been a good chunk of that money, but individually they're small. So we'll see. McDonald's is small, so that would work. And that's it.
last year we took in some substantial sale of property. The Viva building, the 2 parcels of property that we sold. We talked about in the past about putting that back into funds for capital improvements. Has that been done, or?
I don't think it has. I've heard about the money, but I don't know where we are with that.
There was 700,000.
So I know we moved money from the budget, and that was moved to the capital. I don't know if the other.
And I think that's something we need to definitely address and stuff, because I'm just afraid that with everything going on, that could disappear, we're not seeing any gains, in any projects for it and stuff.
So did we, so I can, been catching up on your discussion on this, sale of the building, we're going to put that proceeds. So it normally would then be put into either a separate fund that holds that, or it was already put into the funds. So it sounds like it would have been held back, it should be reflected somewhere. And that doesn't sound familiar to me, I'm looking at it.
Yeah, I think, it had to go back into the general revenue fund, 1st, and from there, it could be earmarked, for capital improvements or something like that. I think that was the discussion we all had. That was
Original money came from.
right, key factor. That's where the original money came from to purchase those buildings, because we left 5 years worth of rent disappear that we didn't recuperate when we sold the property, which was half the cost of what we paid for the property.
Okay, can we look into that?
Yeah, please.
I'll get a little deeper into it. I've heard some of this information.
Right.
Not to know.
Happy, as far as the parks and the playground equipment, we're still looking at June 1st.
Yes.
And that includes the restrooms?
Yes.
Okay, and that's in order to get a cleaning schedule established?
We are working on that. I sent that out to the department heads to give me some feedback to make sure that we're going to be able to get in there and clean that as often as necessary. And it may depend on the amount of traffic.
Well, my question is, how often, and how do you deem what's necessary and how often? I think in all of that, we're not going to be able to run in behind somebody that's been on playground equipment or a restroom. I think what we're going to have to do, which I think it needs to be a personal responsibility, if a family wants to play on the playground, they need to, I would think they would be wiping things down just as we go to a store or anything else. I just don't see where the city, we could really, other than keeping it closed, keep up with it. I just don't see how it's humanly possible.
Well, we're looking at following what CDC has recommended. So what we're planning on at this point is cleaning, or disinfecting twice a day. So we'll open up in the mornings, we'll clean by noon. I mean, if there's anything left from the night before, it should have been cleaned up. So we'll clean at noon, and then we'll clean again in the evening, and close the doors, just shut it. And that way nobody else gets in.
That's the only way in the restrooms, but the playground equipment that's open. I mean, that's all the time.
Playground equipment, so anything wood doesn't need to be cleaned, so we're not worried about that. It's just the hard surface, the plastic and the metal.
That's pretty much all we got up in the park, isn't it, Susie? We just don't have any wood stuff up there.
Aside from the tables,
Yeah.
it's
Tables.
mostly,
Even there were a lot of metal tables. So,
yeah.
So with that, we've got a portable sprayer, and we've got disinfectant. We'll go out and spray them down. And we'll do that once, twice a day, depends again how busy it's going to be. What they would rather see is for us to get out there and clean, and they're talking right about that. That's a little beyond our scope and the amount of equipment that we have to give them.
I don't want people to do it. I'm just saying, that is not going to happen. I don't see how it can happen.
speaking of parks, while we're on the topic, is it okay for the park board to resume their meeting on the 26th of May if they have it at the pavilion, where it's a little bit more aired out?
I believe that'd be fine.
Okay.
Would you do me a favor and ask them if they'd be willing to maybe post signs about our cleaning so that people coming to the park know and are aware of what we're doing?
Okay.
So if they want to wipe it down themselves, they can.
Okay.
They should.
And
We're not officially opening the playground equipment up until, when, June 1?
June 1. And once they get all the feedback from the department heads, we'll start putting that information out there and put it on Facebook, put it on, get it out there on wherever else we get it in the newspaper, just let everybody know what we're doing.
I was approached by a couple small business owners that have started reopening downtown, and restrooms are a big concern with the Welcome Center being closed and Main Street Park being closed, and most of the restaurants up until this past week not being open for dine-in. They said visitors were starting to come to town, and the lack of restrooms was an issue.
So the only thing we offer at this point is the State Historic Society, I think it's
Field Valley at the Port Potty.
Yeah, they got that open in the back.
So we'll open the Main Street, and there again, we could put hand sanitizer in there and stuff, and people are gonna have to take personal responsibility. And that's the way it should be, I think. You know,
You can sign it though, have signs.
Yeah, if we have signage, I'd be much more comfortable with that.
Right.
Agreed.
Yeah, good point.
But I like that we're following, or looking into following the CDC.
CDC, I've been talking, been getting information from other city administrators on how they're opening up. And some of them have a real difficult job, because they've got pools and community center, all the equipment. So our job is not that hard, but I still want to make sure we do it properly and in line with what everybody else is doing.
Thank you.
any other questions? Good. So we have our staff reports. Have you all been able to look at everything? Is there any questions? I know Gary's not here, and I asked that we didn't have to limit the amount of people he'd be here, but I've asked that we not overload the gallery here. So is there any questions? Reckon happy?
Yeah, I just read on here, they're down to 3 more volunteers. Is there something that we can do to assist the fire department to help maintain their members? That's a pretty tough volunteer job to have somebody put their life in. I mean, I don't know what we do for them. I know we buy equipment and they get grants and stuff, but I don't know what else we do for them. But
Well, they did say they were contacted by several people and they're just halting things, right, until this thing calms down. So we lost 3, but we might have several that want to come on board. I'm just wondering.
well, I asked the chief about this, and he seems that the pool was pretty thin.
Okay.
So it sounds like from here that they have people that they're talking to, but they'd like more. Because, you know, a month goes by and that person was interested a month ago, but maybe something changed, so. It sounds like they just want more from what I've read.
Did he give you any indication of what we could do to help?
You know, I just asked him, you know, to come up with some ideas and stuff, because I don't know what we do now to, you know, farm and stuff like that, but it's and I don't know if you've been on the department, it's
That's pretty much the way it's been through the years, you know, we can always use more. I mean, there's always been I guess, 1 or 2 more through the years, you know.
I asked him, I said, how much training these guys have to go through, and they put in a lot of time.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's
Pretty
several hundred
intense.
hours
Yeah.
of training.
And every month they train besides the firefighter 1 and 2, you know, and that's a prerequisite now. The city pays for it, but you gotta have somebody willing to do it. It takes about 6 months, I think, to do it.
Really?
That, you know, community college, like Mac or Jefferson County, Jefferson College.
No, I don't know if that's something we could go to some of our bigger commercial entities and ask for some assistance. I don't know, I just think we need to try to boost something there somehow.
Well, we do have, when we have 3 ads for the Herald, for the fire department,
3 what?
3 ads.
Free advertising.
Oh,
3
yeah.
advertising, they're doing that for us.
So what you're asking about, are you speaking more in terms of like how do we promote it to get more applicants?
Well,
or are you talking more and making it more enticing for them to?
Well, we're both, you know, what can the city do? I mean, can we assist them to, you know, we buy equipment, and, you know, that type of thing. But it just seems like there's always a turnover and it's always shorthanded, and, you know, if I have a building that's needing a call, I don't want to have 2 people show up and they need 10.
I think the mutual aid thing has really helped a lot. I think any structure fire in any department now, they're pulling from every department that's available.
Yeah, I know when I was on the Hay Street, they had a fire down there. There was a fire department come in from Zell or somewhere.
Yeah.
A couple other, you know, so. Yeah, I think, Bob, that's always going to be a battle for those guys.
Yeah.
Because people move, and people, you know, and I don't know, and it's a volunteer fire department, so I don't know what we can do.
Just get more input from the chief, see if he's got some other ideas, and let us know the city.
Do
Well,
that.
they're uniform. They go to meetings or
Any other questions? All right. Moves us on to public comments. Anybody here, public comments? Nobody. Takes us to the consent agenda.
I had an amendment to the March 19th minutes. I just noted that the vote for the city administrator position was not in the minutes, so Pam amended it to show that the vote carried 8-0. Thank you.
With that change duly noted, have a motion?
Motion to approve the consent agenda?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Takes us to old business, a discussion of employee health insurance premiums.
Can I make a suggestion that rather than us sitting here and rehashing everything we talked about last week and in the past, that we form a committee and the committee work on this and make some recommendations to the board?
That's what we decided at last week.
Okay.
So the board needs to decide how they want to form.
That's the recommendation.
The suggestion was made, a couple of, well, one or two people from each department, which I guess was only two or three, and then two or three aldermen to just sit down and go over the options and give a report back to the board of different things that they all came up with. You know, for me to sit here and say one thing is good for the police department may have a more significant impact on the street department or the city hall employees. So I think that is, I mean, I would like for a committee to look at it and try to work something out between a representative, at least one representative from each of our departments to take back to their people and get input from their people rather than us try to talk to all of them.
I agree. You don't want to implement this now, or are you looking at implementing this when we do our insurance renewal next year?
I think we need to do it now.
Okay, listen. So for employees, they have to give us their choice by June 30th. We have a deadline that we need to come up with a solution, come up with a plan, so that the employees then can make a change if they want on their plan. So if you're going to require that they pay more, pay some for the premiums, you may not want to buy a plan, then you can switch back. So that's why I would urge to maybe everyone on the committee to make that choice tonight. We'll pick people from the departments. If we get volunteers, they'll get volunteers, we'll sign some things.
I nominate Jeff and Bob to be on the committee. Jeff has a good idea, Bob got it.
Joe, you'll be on that committee?
I'm into that.
Susie? Anyway, Gary or Susie or Ashley, whoever, we need three of us, so.
All three.
Who we have Jeff and Bob. I'd like to have one more alderman, our alderman.
Sure. I'll do it.
Is that okay with you, Buck?
Yes.
Susie, will
Did
you
you
do it?
raise your hand? I'm sorry.
I can't volunteer, I'm still in shock.
I see it.
He did his hand with it, I go, is he all right?
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You're it.
Okay, so we'll have Bob and Jeff on this committee.
You know, one information I'd like Mark to check into and stuff, I mean, I've been doing insurance for a long time and stuff, but one of the issues that's been brought up to me is how can we approve people with different pay scales, maybe different seniority, like to have all the options that we can legally, because, you know, we have a wide range of pay scales. And for everybody to pay the same, you know, I think that's going to be difficult.
So we have contacted the insurance company about these questions. So you cannot single out different employees for different amounts. That's how the insurance company has responded to us, saying it has to be a flat amount so that it's not discriminatory. Whether you're looking at it from what they make or if they started later, as opposed to, you know, the employees we have now, and then we want to change it to a new employees have to pay more. Can't do that by contract. Not necessarily that it's there may be another legal issue, but our carrier says they don't believe we should do that because it could be considered discriminatory.
Well, but how do you have one employee that we're paying $1,500 a month insurance, and the next one we're paying $400, have to pay the same amount?
That's how they require that the city pay a certain amount for the employees. So we have to pay a certain amount to be in the plan to begin with. They believe that and I don't have a complete explanation, I just have what they had sent me, that they don't believe that by dividing that up, by changing the amounts for different individuals, because then you're pointing out, you get it for this amount, you get it for this amount, you get it for this amount, that could be, there might be something construed, it may not be the intent of the board, but it could be construed that you're picking on me and you're not picking on that person.
But a
I
single
get
person will
my
pay
question.
less than somebody with a spouse and kids, though.
Because you're going to, what I would encourage anyway is that we pay the full amount for an employee. So there's the base amount. Then you have what your add-ons are for your dependent, family, and children.
Electives.
Right.
Right.
And that's what we could choose to fund or not fund, or...
Right, but it is best to stay with a flat amount, not try to put in a scale of some sort based on income, because I understand the reasoning behind it, but it may not be, it can be looked at as favoring somebody over another. Even if all intentions are good, because you make less money, we want to do more for you, then it can get us into trouble. Mark was going to look into it a little bit
Yeah,
further.
I mean, I would agree with everything he just said, although some of it is more policy-driven than legal. But I understand the temptation to look at the pay side of it, but the pay is set based upon what those people are doing and the market rate for that work is. So you have decided that they should be paid X. Now you're on a benefit, and the benefit is a specific cost that's the same for the group, right? So you're giving them a benefit, and it has nothing to do with their wages. It has nothing to do with their job category. So and he's right, if you try to adjust that, and so then you're really, I mean, you may be thinking, well, I'm going to increase the benefit for the lower paid people, but really the way it's going to be viewed is that you decrease the pay for the people that are paid higher, because that's really what you're doing. But legally, you're going to run into how is this going to look on the outside, and how are you not discriminating against different categories of people? I know of no public entity that does that. I'm not aware of it happening. I tried to find some case law on it. It just isn't out there because it's just not done. There is litigation rules with regard to your highly compensated employees, because usually those people get better benefit packages like in the corporate world, and there's certain rules and regulations of how much you can do that when you don't run afoul of federal rules and regulations and statutes, because the highly compensated people can't be treated better, and then you're discriminating against the other people. I've not seen any case law that people are trying to discriminate against their highly compensated people, because you've already made the decision to compensate them higher. But it's certainly everything that Happy is talking about is I would have the same reservations about treating people differently based upon the pay that you've already decided to give them for their work. The benefits are a separate equation. Now, what you do for them as a group and how they contribute to, especially if you're going to cover the employees fully, how much they contribute for their dependents, that's really what you're going to have to be looking at. But it should be, the benefit should apply to all employees equally, because it's a benefit that applies to everybody, and they are a category of employees, and it's a benefit, because otherwise you're really injecting a lot of other legal issues into it that nobody does. And I understand the temptation, because you want to help out the people that can less afford it, but you're opening up a legal can of worms, if you will.
Mark, does the same thing apply if you wanted to look at a particular category of employees and increase their salary or their pay and not others?
You're talking about increase their pay?
I'm talking about a certain category of employee in X job. Could you raise their pay without raising others?
Absolutely.
So if we think someone's making X amount and maybe should make more, and we could look at that as well. And we could also, I'm just throwing this out there for something for you guys to chew on, look at the retirement program as well, the loggers contribution. I believe it's 4% now and a 4% match. That might be something that you might want to massage as well, improve upon that. Contribution goes up, maybe a department goes up a little bit. Just something that you can do, you have the authority to do all that, I believe. Is that right, Mark?
I'm not sure about the loggers benefits, that would depend on the loggers.
Happy?
plan,
How does that
that's
work?
Set up. If you could have different classifications and people getting different.
It would be different, yeah, it's, again, I think loggers is across the board, either you pay 2, you pay none, 2, 4, or 6%.
So we could go, you could go from 4 to 6.
If you want to reduce, or if you want to raise.
So that could be something you can massage as well. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mark. I didn't mean to cut you off, sir.
So the question on meeting this committee, you're thinking evenings? Any particular evening? Just kind of, okay.
I'd hope, but I have an election coming up. And you never know.
We saw that on
I'll put
Facebook.
some,
You never know.
I mean, if everybody's good next week, if we try to meet, I'll get with the employees, get some people picked, and then we'll meet, and I'll give you a couple of days and time to see what works.
Are you thinking about department heads plus somebody from their department?
I was just gonna do one employee, and if you want the department heads as well?
I think so.
Yeah, I don't think that would be a bad idea.
So department heads and one employee. Okay.
Any other questions?
Can I ask a couple?
Yes, you may ask a couple questions. Come on up to the podium. State your rank and name and rank.
Serial number?
Chief Minute, 8101. Colonel. I have a couple of questions, and it seems like some of this has been addressed before, but maybe not. But I guess my question, the first question may be a two-part. Have any of you, as an employee, has your employer come during the term of your employment and implemented a policy that would negatively affect your pay during your employment?
Yes.
Okay. And I mean, I don't want to get too specific, but in this specific application?
Yes.
Okay. With the, so my understanding is you will have a set plan. If you're employee only, it's $100. If you're an employee and a wife, it's $200. If you're an employee, a wife and kids, it's $300. Is there a way to grandfather any of, so knowing that that's the price for the employee or for that particular instance, is there a way to grandfather the people that are here but make that policy for new hires after the fact?
No.
Okay. Because the city would still pay that premium that's expected. It's the cost sharing that you would be passing on to the employee. Is that not anything that can be set in policy?
It's not our policy, it's the policy of the provider. So our insurance company says, no, you cannot do that.
Okay.
But that holds us from adopting anything different.
Okay. All right. And then my understanding, just in watching the last meetings, is I would hope that this would be a gradual increase as far as the contributions expected from the employees.
Well,
Is that some?
Can I say something? We don't even know if there's going to be anything like that.
Right, but
So I think that's why we got the committee going to be discussing.
Right, which you'll be a member of.
Right.
Part of it.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
That's fine, that's fine. In that scenario, I would certainly ask on the employee's behalf that be gradual, and that's my understanding of everybody that I've talked to, that would be gradual. Is there some way, if it gets to that's something, I mean, historically, we have granted, or this board has granted, a 3% salary increase a year, something that you could kind of keep that in line so that maybe it's not an out-of-pocket for the employee as that goes forward until you get to the point, that it gets up to whatever the highest number is.
Well, I think one point of contention is that 3% is supposed to be merit-based. It's not supposed to be automatic. So you can't put those two things. The employee cannot expect that 3% every year. It's supposed to be merit-based, based on a review.
That's something else we need to do away with, is that flat percentage, because I seen in the last time we were gonna give one person $2,700, and we were gonna give the lower end of the spectrum a few $100s, but they were all getting the same percentage. That's not the way, I think it should be. It should be merit-based for one, but it should be taken into consideration pay scale also. But Sue, I'm gonna ask you, because we wanted to compare different departments to other departments right here in our same area. What does the county do for insurance?
I'm not a county employee.
Oh,
I don't get
okay.
my insurance through the county, so I can't tell you that.
Okay, well, I did ask, and, the employees pay a fee for their personal insurance, and then they also pay for dependent coverage and spouses 100%, is my understanding. So if we're going to compare apples to apples, we have to take everything into consideration.
But they also pay better and they contribute to 2 retirement plans where we only offer 1.
Describe pay better.
They pay better,
Quite a bit.
yeah, across the board.
I don't know that I necessarily agree with that. I think we would need to see a salary study.
Right.
Yeah. But we can find that out, right, Happy?
Sure.
There we go.
And this sounds like something that the committee's going to address
I
and come
know,
back
that's
to
what
us
I'm
in a couple
thinking.
weeks.
Gary, I
Second,
remember a comment that you brought up back
Oh, no.
a year ago or so. The teachers lost a percentage of their insurance back in 1995.
18 years ago or something like that.
Right.
Yes.
So was you a teacher then?
No.
Oh, no.
Oh.
I was at Boeing then. I've only had the privilege of teaching
just-
for going on 7 years now. When I came in, it was set the way it is now.
Yeah.
The teacher's range of contribution, just if you want to know, is anywhere from 50 to 75% for their family.
50 to 75% of the premium.
Employee contribution per month, depending on what plan you take. The school will pay $500 and some a month, period, and whatever plan you choose is on you, however much more it is. So let's say I chose the $1,200 plan from the city to cover my family. They would pay $500, and I'd make up the rest.
Right.
I'm paying 65% right now for my spouse.
Did you have a question, Alderman?
I was just going to ask you, when you were asking your questions, was your concern mainly with implementing this in the current year going forward and picking out your plans
That
of
is-
implementing this, or was it a broad concern for future years as well?
Both.
Both.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Any other questions before we move on? Okay. So, that takes us to other business. Approval of the liquor license request for Mimi's, 675 St. Genevieve Drive, and then all the rest of it. It's on the report.
Move approval.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Very good. Any other communications we need to have here? Very good, and I need a motion to go into executive closed session for personnel matters.
Motion to go into closed session?
Second.
Any roll call?
Alderman Smith.
Yes.
Alderwoman Johnson.
Yes.
Alderman Donovan.
Yes.
Alderman Jokers.
Yeah.
Alderman Eidman.
Yes.
Alderman Rainey.
Yes.
Alderman Prince.
Yes.
Alderwoman Armbruster.
Yes.
Motion carries.
6:39.
That's what happens when you get home.
Touch it.